This single leaf, torn straight off a dying succulent, is about to become 5 brand new plants, with nothing but pantry ingredients and zero rooting hormone. If your succulents keep stretching, rotting, or refusing to root no matter what you try, stick around. Because today I'm walking you through 10 things almost nobody tells you about propagating succulents successfully. These are the small details that separate a tray of healthy new rosettes from a tray of shriveled black mush. Hit subscribe now so you don't lose this video before we get to the part that actually saves your cuttings. Let's start with the leaf itself, because not every leaf will root, and picking the wrong one wastes weeks you don't get back. Choose a plump, fully mature leaf from lower on the stem, never from the stretched, pale growth at the top of the plant. That stretching is called etiolation, and it happens when a succulent isn't getting enough light, so it grows upward and thins out chasing the sun instead of building sturdy, colourful tissue. Leaves from an etiolated section carry far less stored energy in their tissue, so they root slower and often rot before they ever manage to sprout. If most of your plant looks stretched, it's worth noting for later, because that whole plant will need brighter light going forward, not just the cuttings you take from it today. Gently wiggle the leaf side to side until it detaches cleanly at the base, keeping that tiny growth point at the bottom intact. If it snaps in the middle instead of releasing whole, it won't grow a new plant, no matter how well you treat it afterward. Here's the step most beginners skip completely, and it's the single biggest reason succulent cuttings rot instead of root. Unlike a peace lily or a cactus pad, a succulent leaf needs to dry out fully before it ever touches soil or water. Lay your leaves flat on a paper towel, out of direct sun, and leave them alone for 2 to 3 days. During this time, the open wound at the base seals itself over with a dry, calloused layer. That callus acts as a natural barrier, blocking bacteria and fungus from entering the tissue, which is exactly what causes mushy black cuttings later on. Skip this step, and you're basically planting an open wound directly into damp soil. Once the ends are properly calloused, we're going to give them a gentle boost. Today's ingredient is raw honey. Honey contains natural antibacterial compounds and mild acids that mimic the effect of a commercial rooting hormone, encouraging new root cells to form right at the wound site while also protecting it from infection. Mix 1 teaspoon of raw honey into 300 milliliters of lukewarm water and stir until it's completely dissolved. Dip just the callous tip of each leaf into the honey water for about 10 seconds. Don't soak the whole leaf, since succulents already store water inside their own tissue, and prolonged soaking invites rot rather than preventing it. Tell me in the comments which succulent you're propagating right now. I read every single one, and it genuinely helps me plan which plants to cover in future videos. Substrate is where most succulent propagation attempts actually fail, because people reuse the same regular potting soil they'd use for any other houseplant. Succulents need a fast-draining, gritty mix, not the moisture-retentive blend you'd choose for a tropical plant. I combine 1 part coarse potting soil, 1 part perlite, and 1 part coarse sand or pumice, mixing it thoroughly by hand until the texture is even throughout. This mix drains within seconds of watering, so the roots are never sitting in trapped moisture, which is the #1 cause of stem rot in succulent cuttings at every stage of growth. If you can only find one of these ingredients, perlite alone mixed into ordinary potting soil at about a 50-50 ratio will still dramatically improve drainage compared to soil on its own. Next, a trick almost nobody talks about: aspirin water. Uncoated aspirin contains salicylic acid, a compound plants naturally produce themselves to trigger stress responses, including root formation whenever a cutting is under stress from being separated from the parent plant. Crush half an uncoated aspirin tablet into 500 milliliters of room temperature water and stir until it dissolves completely, with no visible particles left behind. Lightly mist the surface of your gritty substrate with this solution before placing your leaves down on top. This isn't a replacement for good drainage or proper callousing, it's simply a small chemical nudge that speeds up how fast those first fragile root hairs appear. If any of this is new information to you, that's exactly why you should subscribe and tap the bell icon. I test every one of these methods myself before I bring them to you, so you're not guessing with your own plants. Lay your calloused leaves flat on top of the substrate, just resting gently on the surface, never buried or pushed in. Then cover the whole tray loosely with a clear plastic dome or a plastic bag propped up with a few skewers so it doesn't actually touch any of the leaves. This traps humidity right around the base of each leaf, which speeds up root formation considerably, all without soaking the leaf itself in wet soil. Crack the dome open for about an hour every day to let fresh air circulate in. Trapped, stagnant humidity invites mold just as easily as it encourages new roots, so ventilation matters just as much as moisture does. For watering, skip the watering can entirely for now. Instead, mist only the substrate directly around the base of each leaf every 2 to 3 days, never the leaf itself. Water sitting in the crease where the leaf meets the soil is one of the fastest ways to rot a cutting that's otherwise rooting perfectly well underneath. A fine mist keeps the substrate just barely damp, which is genuinely all a developing succulent root actually needs during this stage. Place the whole tray somewhere bright, but without a single hour of direct sun hitting it. Direct light on an unrooted leaf, which has no root system yet to pull in water and cool itself down, will scorch it within a single day. Bright, indirect light, a few feet back from an east-facing window, works particularly well, gives the leaf enough energy to keep photosynthesizing, while it channels its stored resources into growing roots instead of repairing sun damage. After about 3 to 4 weeks of consistent care, you'll start to see tiny pink or white roots emerging from the callus base, and often a small new rosette forming right where the old leaf meets its original growth point. Before you pot anything up, do a gentle tug test. Hold the leaf steady and give it the faintest pull. If you feel real resistance, the roots have anchored properly and it's ready to move. If it lifts freely with no resistance at all, give it another week and check again. Potting too early disturbs roots that haven't fully spread yet, and the whole cutting can stall for weeks trying to recover from the disturbance. Once your new rosettes are properly rooted, pot them into that same gritty mix, burying just the small root ball and letting the original mother leaf stay attached until it naturally shrivels on its own, since it's still actively feeding the new plant with stored energy. Here's the part almost everyone gets wrong at this final stage. Don't move your new plants straight into full sun just because they finally have roots. Harden them off gradually over 10 to 14 days, adding roughly an extra 30 minutes of direct light each day. A succulent's photosynthetic tissue adapts to light intensity slowly, and jumping straight into full sun after weeks spent in shade will bleach or permanently scar leaves that were otherwise perfectly healthy. Do this consistently, and in about 2 months, a single dying, stretched-out succulent turns into an entire tray of new, fully rooted plants, completely for free, using ingredients you almost certainly already have sitting in your kitchen. The new rosettes will be compact, richly coloured and tightly formed, nothing like the pale, leggy growth they started from. Every mistake I covered today is one I made myself years ago, back when I lost entire trays of cuttings to rot, before I understood what any of these steps were actually doing. If you found even one of these 10 tips genuinely useful, hit like, subscribe to Rooted, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next batch of tips that actually keep your plants alive and thriving.